Hello everyone, I am Omkar Dikshit, working as Assistant Professor in Mechanical Engineering Department in Nyanshri Institute of Engineering and Technology, Satara. Today, I am presenting a topic which comes under environmental awareness, and topic is use of alternative fuels in vehicle, which will help in reduce effects on environment. So, first we will see, actually what is alternative fuels, after that, need of alternative fuels, what are the different alternative fuels, applications of alternative fuels. So, let's start. Alternative fuels. An alternative fuel may be defined as a fuel for internal combustion engines, that is derived partly or wholly from a source other than petroleum, and that is less damaging to the environment than traditional fuels. Alternative fuels, known as non-conventional, and advanced fuels, are any materials substances that can be used as fuels, other than conventional fuels like fossil fuels, as well as nuclear materials such as uranium and thorium, as well as artificial radioisotope fuels that are made in nuclear reactors. Need for alternative fuels. Conventional fuels are going to run out. One day, our sources for traditional fuels, including petroleum, would be depleted. Owing to the fact that these fuels are typically not renewable, a lot of people are worried that a day would come when the demand for these fuels would be more than the supply, triggering a considerable world crisis. Non-environmentalists also concur with the opinion that the majority of oil fields situated in the Middle East in the world are associated with problems, both political and economic. Determining a new method, or solution with respect to finding different countries, to create new fuels would reduce the unrest and conflict resulting from the world's dependence on fuel supply from the Middle East. Need for alternative fuels. To reduce pollution. The use of alternative fuels considerably decreases harmful exhaust emissions such as carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, particulate matter and sulfur dioxide, as well as ozone-producing emissions. To protect against global warming. According to a commonly accepted scientific theory, burning fossil fuels was causing temperatures to rise in the Earth's atmosphere, global warming. Though global warming continues to be just a theory, a lot of people across the globe are of the belief that discovering sources of cleaner burning fuel is an essential step towards enhancing the quality of our environment. To save money, alternative fuels can be less expensive to use, not just in terms of the fuel itself, but also in terms of a longer service life. This in turn means savings for the long term. Can reuse waste. Biofuels, bioproducts, and biopower provide modern and fresh relevance to the old belief that trash for one person is a treasure for another. More choices. People are different. Each person has his own requirements, opinions, and preferences. One great thing about alternative fuels, and the corresponding vehicles that run on them, is that there is something to suit any lifestyle. You'll be helping the farmers. Use of biofuels, that depend on crops, produced and processed locally, help to support farmers for their dedicated and hard labor. Biodiesel and ethanol cooperatives are a result of the great outmoded farmer cooperatives that assist with returning power to the hands of the people. Can frequently be produced domestically. Often, alternative fuels can be developed domestically, utilizing a country's resources, and thereby strengthening the economy. Fuel economy. Vehicles driven on hydrogen fuel cells and diesel are more economical with respect to fuel compared to an equivalent gasoline vehicle. Various alternate fuels. Methanol and ethanol, alcohol fuels. Natural gas, compressed and liquefied. Liquefied petroleum gas. Hydrogen. Biodiesel. Electricity, batteries and fuel cells. Biodiesel. These are renewable fuels made from vegetable oils, for example, soybean or canola oil, animal fat and even restaurant grease. As the name implies, they are for use in diesel vehicles. Unfortunately, it costs more than regular diesel fuel, and can be corrosive to rubber engine parts. Biodiesel also thickens greatly in cold temperatures and burns poorly under such conditions. Ethanol. This alcohol can be added to regular gasoline in amounts ranging from 10% to 83%. By 2014, nearly 100 kinds of flex fuel vehicles had reached the automotive market. On the plus side, ethanol can be synthesized and does not need to be drawn from the ground or imported into the US. On the other hand, ethanol has less energy per unit volume, meaning that cars get lower gas mileage. Hydrogen. This promising, but extremely volatile fuel has the advantage of being ubiquitous, and its only waste product is water vapor. However, elemental hydrogen is not naturally occurring, and must be produced from H-containing compounds, such as methane. It is being used increasingly as a fuel source for fuel cell vehicles. Propane. This small, unbranched hydrocarbon, which exists in liquid form at room temperature, has been used for decades. As of 2019, only a small percentage of the propane being used in the US was being used in the transportation sector. Solar, hydro, and wind. These energy sources all have the advantage of being naturally occurring, and in eternal supply, and are all non-polluting. For now, they all suffer from practical constraints on their use. For example, solar cells may provide varying amounts of power that depend on factors like cloud cover. Wind speed is notoriously inconsistent, and hydro power can be both inefficient and damaging to the environment in the form of flooding. Applications of alternative fuels. Ethanol is a widely used renewable fuel made from corn and other plant materials. It is blended with gasoline for use in vehicles. Natural gas is a domestically abundant gaseous fuel that can have significant fuel cost advantages over gasoline and diesel fuel. Various gases such as acetylene, natural gas, propane, propylene and hydrogen can be used as a fuel for cutting and welding, heat treatment, as power and energy for transportation, and combined with oxygen, for various industrial processes. Hydrogen is a potentially emissions-free alternative fuel that can be produced from domestic resources for use in fuel cell vehicles. Biodiesel is a renewable fuel that can be manufactured from vegetable oils, animal fats, or recycled cooking grease for use in diesel vehicles. Biodiesel can also be used as a heating fuel in domestic and commercial boilers. Propane is a readily available gaseous fuel that has been widely used in vehicles throughout the world for decades.